Our next speaker today sent me her biography, which I'm not going to use because it was far too generic, and I happen to know this woman extremely well. Her name is Sandra van der Cauter. She's Belgian, but she's now living in Basel. She works for Roche Pharmaceuticals. She does corporate trainings. I've known her personally now for 3 years through Toastmasters, where we fought in the trenches over different things. This woman is courageous, she's fearless, she's easily one of the most talented women I've ever had the pleasure of knowing or working alongside, which is why I refused to read her generic. My name is Sandra, and I've worked in Roche for the last 15 years, because we're not interested. You're interested in who she is, and you'll see this through her speech. Please welcome on stage Sandra van der Cauter. I hope I've said that correctly.
It's what we call expectation management. Over the last 9 years, I received mentoring from women senior leaders on how to thrive in a corporation. Anybody familiar with a corporation? Good. Now, in a corporation, there's as many written as unwritten rules. And I believe strongly that every person in a corporation has an important part to play in the overall success of the business. Meaning that the corporation's chain is as strong as its weakest link. I think we can all agree on that. But I also strongly believe that every person, also in this room, has a voice and a message to deliver. A message not only crucial for the success, but also for the sustainability of that business. So while working with leaders from all different levels, I witnessed firsthand the difficulty they had in getting their message clear. Do you remember a presentation that you're just looking at the presentation and you're just hoping that the ground would open up underneath you so you do not have to listen to another boring presentation? Right. So when I approached in 2009 to create a work group for the Women Leadership Network and help them with their communication, I was thrilled. Now, I based my fantastic training on an ingenious 3-step method. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Prepare, rehearse, deliver. Now, I can assure you, when we get already to step number 2, rehearse, it's a victory. Because most of the time, people throw some slides together in stage number 1, they drum to delivery. And then they're very much confused, why didn't it work? Now, stage 1 is much more than just throwing some slides together, is it? In stage 1, you're setting the scene of the presentation. Basically, you're asking questions like, who's my audience? Now, who's sitting in this room here? Am I talking to experts? Am I talking to my line managers? The board of directors? Is it inside of the company, outside of the company? And what about location? Is it an auditorium, a small meeting room, a lobby? Any technology present? Mic? A beamer? Do I need to bring my own? Is there a protocol, an introduction? And then you will find out, why am I speaking? Am I there to motivate somebody? Do I need to deliver a good message? A bad message? Inspire people? And only then will you go to the content of the presentation. Now, the content of the presentation answers questions like this. Do I even need an audience? Why should my audience listen to me? What is it that I have to say which can take 10, 20, or 30 minutes of your valuable time? Basically, what's in it for you? And we call this the presentation's objectives. Now, one thing that stood out while working with these leaders is that although we worked these amazing 3 stages over and over, I noticed that not all of them were equally successful in reaching their presentation's objectives. And I found it fascinating and at the same time very worrisome. Now just imagine a corporation where dozens of ideas, discoveries, projects are not getting the support they deserve and they need in order to continue just because a person is not able to deliver a clear message. Now, why is that? And it was only since last summer, while working with a senior executive, that it all made sense. You know, we were working very heavily on stage 1. And we knew exactly where the presentation was going to be held, who was going to be there, the technology. We had literally everything. Every question was answered. But somehow, something was preventing us from moving forward. We were not able to create clear content. Now, you need to know that certain presentations create very high levels of stress. And the stakes for the senior manager was high, very high. It was a speech outside of the company with a global visibility that could make or break a career. So you can ask yourself, why speak? Why did you accept to speak? And this is when it just dawned on me. There is something else happening before stage 1. We're having a pre-stage. And I hear you. It's like, whoa, Sandra, have you ever seen my agenda? I don't have time for this. I have meeting after meeting after meeting. I get my request for presentation just right there and I need to deliver. Really? If you do not have time, that's exactly when you need to slow down. Because if you do not know what you want, what makes you think your audience will guess it? So it's the main difference between do you want to confuse your audience or do you want to deliver a clear message? Now, once we had So what is this pre-stage about? This pre-stage is about discovering your personal motivation. Now, everybody has a good reason to accept to speak. So you have a personal motivation. Everybody today has a personal motivation. Fantastic. We want you to have one. We want you to be eager to speak. It's inspiring, isn't it? We also do not need to know your personal motivation. That's why it's called personal. But I know I want to speak. I don't need to spend time on this, right? I know, I want, this is my prime time, I really want to speak. You do need to spend time on this. The reason is the following. Is your personal motivation is running like an undercurrent underneath all the other stages. Your personal motivation has a direct impact on the outcome of your presentation. It influences how you prepare, how you rehearse, and how you deliver. It makes all the difference between being perceived as authentic or manipulative. So basically, your personal motivation is as much your ally as it can be your enemy. And that's why it's important for you to spend time on this. So once we found out the personal motivation for the senior executive, it could function as a real ally, and we were able to create clear content. She was able to keep focus on the speech objectives, and deliver. So how does it work? Imagine you're invited to present your product in a company. And business could come out of this. So you really want to give a good impression. Actually, we want you to give a good impression. We invited you. So how do you give a good impression? Is first of all, by focusing why you got invited. So you will really think about all the information which your audience or this company needs to know. You will think about information. Is it valuable? Is it necessary information? Is it too much information? You will go through every slide which you put into the presentation and think about it. Now, I sat in numerous meetings with possible future providers whom we invited into the company. Now, we've done our research. We don't just invite companies because we do not know what to do with our time. So we have done our research. We know exactly who they were, where they're located, how many people are working there, what the products are, but what we don't know is exactly how this product could really help us. So we invite them to the company. Now, I said in meetings that the first 15 minutes, we heard everything about the company. Who they were, where they were located, how many awards. And the last 10 minutes was spent on the product information. Now, needless to say that after this 1 hour, we still had no clue what the product really was about or how it could help us, but we knew everything about the company. Now, that's not what we want. We actually really want you to get that business. We're looking for you. We want you to deliver this presentation so that we can find out how can we work together. It's really true. We really want to do business with you. So you will think, which information is important in this presentation? Your personal motivation needs to support every aspect of the process. When you notice that you want to put in a slide in your presentation with the sole purpose to position yourself, show off a little bit, right? Leave it out. Delete it. Don't even look at it. Don't even hide the slide. Leave it out. Because in that moment, your personal motivation is no longer on your side. It changed perspectives. It's going to work now against you. It will influence everything you do from now on. So what you want to do is to remain focused on the presentation's objectives. So once this happens, when the personal motivation takes over the presentation, how does that look like? So just imagine you are giving your presentation and you are delivering. And so you're in this meeting and there's like 150 people looking at you. And then when this happens, you will spot, you just looked at your iPhone. Oh, I just lost you. You must not agree. You just looked at my neighbor. You don't agree. And you lose track. Fear is what makes this shift happen. Fear of not getting what you want is making your shift and the focus change. You will find every reason in the audience that tells you you are losing it. It's not working. They don't believe you. Familiar with this? A little bit? Now the good thing is that you can shift it. That's a nice part of it. This personal motivation can come up and goes away. It goes up and goes away. It's like a little wave. But you're the one who's steering this wave. So the moment that you feel this little twist in your stomach and you notice, oh, I'm no longer really focused on the presentation objective, but on what I want to get out of it, what's in it for me, you will do this. you will focus again on the presentation objectives and want to do a great job. So what were the effects of applying these 4 stages to the senior executive? Because we did. Is that not only did she reach the presentation and personal objectives, she exceeded them. She became one of the top speakers at the event. I mean, what a bonus. Now you can ask yourself, how do I apply this? Do I apply this? What do you think? Do I apply these 4 stages? I mean, I don't have time. You know, my agenda is full. I do. I do apply these 4 stages. Especially the personal motivation is exactly where I start. I mean, when I accept to give a presentation, I have these feelings coming up inside of my belly. I get so nervous. It's like, wow, it's like this excitement, at the same time anxiety, like, oh. And then I'm wondering, why did I say yes? It's like, oh, can I take a rain check? I mean, I'm just like you. I can be really, really afraid suddenly. I think, why? What was I thinking? But then I know what I was thinking because I got this excitement. So I reconnect with the excitement of wanting to give a presentation. And then I use this excitement to really get things clear. What do I want to get out of this presentation? Who is my audience? What's in it for them? Why should we spend valuable time, my time and their time? How can we meet each other? What information do they really need to know? And funny enough, you save so much time. When you go to these process, you save so much time. And then afterwards, this personal motivation is just helping me to rehearse. Because I really want to get clear in my head. And during the delivery, I do exactly the same thing. I want to make sure to keep focus on the presentation's objective. And as such, for myself, reach the levels of authenticity as far as I can get. And I believe that everybody in this room can reach the levels of authenticity. I mean, you cannot afford that you do not speak up. Many people in this audience want to speak up. They want to deliver something. They want to sell their product. So find your courage and look at what's really driving you to move forward or not, to speak up or not. If you're confused in here, you will be confused out there. Now, we don't want you to be confused. We want you to be clear. Now, following this simple process will help you to get clear. And it's this clarity which is your true ally for your authenticity.
Sandra, thank you very much, Sandra.
Yeah.